Hi, this is Julie Skolnick from With Understanding Comes Calm, and I'm standing here with Tracy Cross, who is the Executive Director for the Center of Gifted at William & Mary, and we're here at the William & Mary 2E Conference. So if you've been listening, you know all weekend long I've been asking certain people what they think about, what it means to them, strength-based talent development, what that looks like in the classroom, so that educators can have an idea of how to do this and parents can know what they might advocate for. So, Tracy, tell us what your answer is.
Well, when I think of this, I like to think of an example that was a program I ran with colleagues at Ball State University for 7 years. It was a residential program per week that focused on 2E kids, and it was completely strength-based. There was no attention paid at all to things that would have had them identified as in some way disabled in schools. So we had a wide range of kids, different backgrounds, learning difficulties or attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity. We had dysgraphia. We had kids on the autism scale. And they lived together and they worked together, and everything we did in the curriculum, both the academic curriculum and we had a kind of a psychological curriculum, everything we did was emphasizing their strengths. And we tried to anticipate, because there were only about 2 handfuls, maybe 3 handfuls of kids, we got to know them well before they got there, and then once they were there, we really could just attend to them and sort of celebrating their strengths. And so I think we ran this program for about 7 years, and by far the most overwhelming experience they had was they all said in one form or another this was the first time in their life people had cared about what they could do. Everything in their school experience was what they couldn't do or what they were struggling at doing. And for a week of their life, they were just immersed in not only their own sort of celebrations of positive self, but everybody's. And by the time they finished talking to us, everyone was in tears. It was just one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. So that's my personal sort of touchstone with this approach.
So what I'm thinking about are 2 things that you said. First of all, that you said that before they even got there, you started to learn who they were, which of course informs what are their strengths, what are their talents, what are their interests. And then I love how you talked about how the other kids saw each other as through the strength lens, then it builds that self-confidence for everybody.
It really does. It creates a different atmosphere in a classroom. And some of the children, a few of the ones I got to know well who would have been defined as ADHD, had a reputation that they had to live with, where some people might define them as a bit of a troublemaker or
annoying
right? At
the
very best. And to come to an environment where it just wasn't, no attention was paid to those behaviors. And of course they were always kept safe, but it didn't define them anymore. So they had to look for other things to define them. So you could see a melting of their identification and their sense of self, their identity. You could see it melting away as all of a sudden it was, well, tell me about your ideas, or how might you go about doing that, or I know you like to do this, so how would you bring this to bear? And again, it just worked so incredibly well that it impacted my thinking for the last 20 years quite a bit.
So I'm thinking of this strength-based talent development as like a sandblaster, getting off those layers of dirt that our 2E kids unfortunately build up through their experiences in the world.
I think that's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Tracy.
Oh, you
Thanks
bet.
so much. Okay, guys, see you soon.